It doesn't look like anger. It looks like a normal day. You're still replying, still being polite, still trying to keep the peace. And then something small happens, a tone, a pause, a familiar dismissal, a look that says, you're too much. And inside you, a switch moves quietly, not dramatic, not loud, just a soft, final click. In a moment, I'm going to tell you the silent sentence an empath almost never says out loud. And I'm going to tell you the one body signal that confirms it's not a mood, it's your nervous system choosing safety. But first, here's the uncomfortable truth most people miss. Empaths don't detach because they stop caring. They detach because they cared alone for too long. And if you stay with me, I'll also explain the exact moment it becomes irreversible, even if you're still texting, still smiling, still saying it's fine, because the real detachment happens long before the goodbye. Empaths often carry the emotional weight of the relationship like it's their job. They sense changes before words are spoken. They notice the tension in a room. They try to soften it, fix it, translate it, make it safe for everyone. And at first that looks like love. But over time, it becomes something else. It becomes emotional labor. It becomes survival. It becomes you disappearing in small ways just to keep the connection alive. If you're the empath listening, you probably didn't leave when it was bad. You left when it became clear that your kindness was being used like a free resource, clear that your softness was being mistaken for weakness, clear that the relationship only felt peaceful when you were the one swallowing your needs. So what is the silent moment? It's not when you cry. It's not when you beg. It's not when you finally raise your voice. The silent moment is when you stop mentally reaching for them. When something happens and you don't rush inside your own mind to defend them. You don't say, maybe they had a hard day. You don't build a story to make their behavior feel acceptable. You just see it. And when you see it clearly, something shifts. Let me make this real. With a scene you might recognize. It's late, you're in the kitchen, the lights are low, you've been carrying a heavy week, and you finally decide to share something honest. Not dramatic, not accusing, just real. You say, I've been feeling alone in this. And they don't explode. They don't scream. They do something quieter. They sigh. They look away. They scroll. They say, here we go again? Or, why are you making a problem out of nothing? Or they give you a cold little joke that makes your feelings feel embarrassing. Old, you would have tried to repair it instantly. You would have explained it again, softer, kinder, more careful. You would have turned your pain into something digestible. You would have asked, did I say it wrong? Even though you didn't. But this time, you don't. Not because you're cruel, because something in you finally understands. This isn't about wording. It's about willingness. And that's when the empath starts detaching for real. Here's a line that changes everything. Empaths don't detach in one big moment. They detach in 1,000 tiny disappointments, 1,000 moments of being misunderstood, 1,000 moments of making yourself smaller, 1,000 moments of telling yourself, it's okay, I can handle it, while your body quietly keeps the score. And then one day something small happens, same tone, same dismissal, same pattern, and your nervous system says, we've learned enough. That's the body signal I promised. It's not a thought, it's physical. You feel a strange calm in your chest, not happiness, not relief exactly, more like the inner struggle stops wrestling. No more, should I stay or go? No more replaying conversations, no more rehearsing what you'll say to finally be understood. That noise goes quiet, and for the first time, your body feels safer, imagining life without them than with them. That's not coldness. That's clarity. Now listen carefully, because this is where people get it wrong. Empaths don't detach forever over one mistake. They detach when there's a pattern where your feelings are always too much, but their effort is never enough. A pattern where you're asked to understand, but you're not understood. A pattern where you apologize for having needs, while they rarely apologize for ignoring them. And the breaking point isn't pain, it's repetition, because the wound isn't just what happened, the wound is what happens, and then happens again. And then you realize it will keep happening because nobody is taking responsibility. Here's another truth that stings, but it's honest. Many empaths were trained early to overfunction, to be the emotional adult in the room, to read the atmosphere, to keep everyone calm, to earn love by being useful. So when they meet someone emotionally unavailable, their system doesn't immediately run. It leans in, it tries harder. It says, if I love them enough, they'll soften. If I explain it better, they'll understand. If I stay gentle, they'll stop hurting me. And that's where hope becomes dangerous. Hope becomes dangerous when it turns into self-abandonment, when you start betraying yourself to keep the bond, when you call it patience, but your body experiences it as erasure. And this is why the detach forever moment feels so silent, because it's not a breakup at first. It's an internal boundary. It's the end of bargaining. It's the end of trying to be chosen by someone who benefits from you doing all the choosing. If you want to recognize detachment before it becomes permanent, look for these shifts. The empath stops explaining. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they realize explaining doesn't create empathy. They stop asking for reassurance because they're tired of needing proof they matter. Their kindness becomes more neutral, less warmth, more respectful, distance, not to punish you, to protect themselves. They stop chasing closure because they finally accept that some people will never give you the apology you deserve. And the biggest one is this: they start feeling relief when you're not around. That relief is your nervous system telling the truth. Now, if you're the empath, I want you to hear this clearly. Detachment doesn't mean you never loved. It means you finally stop paying for love with your nervous system. It means you stop confusing intensity with intimacy. It means you stop mistaking familiar pain for real connection. And yes, part of you might still miss them. That doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It means your attachment system is human. You can miss someone and still know they weren't safe for you. You can grieve a person and also grieve the version of you that kept trying. Because a lot of what you're grieving isn't even the relationship you had. It's the relationship you kept hoping it would become. The maybe someday, the potential, the imagined moment where they finally look at you and say, I see you, I get it, I'm here. That's what hurts to let go of. Now, if you're on the other side of this, if you're listening and realizing this might be happening to me, I'm going to tell you something important. When an empath detaches, it often doesn't end with screaming. It ends with silence. They stop arguing because they stop investing. They stop complaining because they stop hoping. They stop reaching because they stop believing. So if you want to repair something before it's too late, don't demand more chances. Don't ask them to go back to how they were. That version of them was surviving. Do one rare thing instead. Take responsibility without defending yourself. Not, I'm sorry you feel that way. Not, you're too sensitive. Not, that's just how I am. Say something like this and mean it. I see the pattern. I understand what it cost you. I'm willing to change, and I'm willing to prove it consistently, because empaths can forgive mistakes. What they can't forgive forever is a refusal to grow. And now, here's the silent sentence I promised. The one an empath often never says out loud. I don't feel safe being myself with you. That's the real ending, not I hate you, not I never loved you. Just I can't be me here. And once that becomes true, the bond breaks quietly, because your nervous system will always choose safety over a story. So if you feel that silent moment forming in you, here's a simple action step. For the next 7 days, stop over explaining your feelings. State them once, calmly, clearly, then watch what happens next. Not what they promise, not what they say in the moment. Watch what they consistently do, because healing begins the day you stop negotiating your worth. And let me leave you with this. The silent moment an empath detaches forever isn't the moment they become heartless. It's the moment they finally become loyal to themselves. And if that scares someone, it's usually because they benefited from your self-abandonment. The silent moment an empath detaches forever isn't a breakup. It's a boundary becoming permanent.